You playing that music? Must be Chris Nee jamming. Rock music.
You know.
Well, I was obviously, I thought our guys were extremely focused beginning of the game. We got out of the box early. Defensively, I thought we had the stops. We got a lot of deflections. We were on point with our execution, made a lot of shots. That just shows that we kind of growing up. Obviously, we stumped our toe on the last time we were on the road in the ACC, and that was a bad taste. I was glad to get that taste out of our mouth. Just going on the road and being able to adjust mentally and emotionally. This team has potential, but we're still growing. We're still coming together. We had the lead, and they cut back in. But what I was most impressed with were two things: that we maintained our composure. We didn't lose our poise. We regrouped. And we came back and made effective plays. Second thing, I was impressed with the fact that MJ Walker was not having a great night offensively, but he had 10 assists and 2 blocks, and gave us great leadership on the floor. And that's the leadership you like to see from your senior.
You said after Saturday's game, I know Anthony was dealing with an illness. Was this related to that? Was this, I guess, something else? And I guess what can you speak to about Wyatt and how he stepped up in his absence?
Well, no, Anthony, it looked like he kind of had a shoulder injury, a kind of a bruised shoulder, was still sore. And it just didn't, this time of year, I just wanted him to be 100%. Hopefully we'll have him back for Saturday's game. I don't really know, but somebody need to mute somebody need to mute their phone. I mean, the Zoom.
Well, if nobody knows that, it's all good.
Can somebody mute their phone, please? Mute their Zoom.
Hey, is it Tim Sullivan, the guy who's at the arena? It looks like someone's at the arena.
No, I think it's Gary Graves. That's who keeps popping up on my screen. I mean, I'm not sure they know they're on the call, honestly. That might be like
got to be someone at the arena. That sounds like arena music.
Okay. Well, somebody asked me a question. Who was it?
Hey,
Did you ask me a question?
Were you still on me? I guess I'd talk about, Wyatt obviously being thrust into the starting lineup tonight and what he gave you kind of without Anthony.
Wyatt is probably one of the most knowledgeable players on our team. He has a very high basketball IQ. He understands everything we're doing. So we wasn't hesitant at all to move him into that position. He makes great decisions with the ball, and he's shooting the ball very well right now. So he stepped in and gave us great floor balance. I thought that he gave us a couple of baskets there early that to fill in for Anthony. Anthony's shooting close to 50% from 3. So I thought that Wyatt coming in, really, we didn't miss very much, and that was very good.
Can you talk about just Raekwon Gray and the game that he had, and also the improvements he's made in his game this year as well?
Well, he's becoming more comfortable with his role. Obviously, early on, that's a big adjustment for being a player that's playing on a team and kind of in a different role with Patrick and Trent and Devin over the last couple of years. Now he's more a leadership role. He's experienced. Whether we are successful or not, a lot has to do with how well he plays. I think he's maturing into that, understanding his strengths and his weaknesses. He's going to the basket more. He's being patient with his shot selection. He's leadership on the floor. He gives us a unique ball handler and decision maker for his size, which is challenging. We want him to drive the ball to the basket, and he's a really good jump shooter, but he's not shooting the ball as well from the perimeter right now. But I think you'll see as he goes with confidence, you'll see him become more and more consistent throughout his offensive game, and he's playing very good defense.
Leonard, you guys have had
Leonard, how much better has Malik been these last 2 games? It feels like maybe is he finding his role a little bit in what you want from him?
Well, to be very honest with you, Corey, we're still trying to define our roles and our rotation and who fits in what. For instance, the night, we wanted to be as big as possible if we could contain the dribble. That was wasn't very effective with that. And so we went smart with a small lineup, and I thought that's when in the second half, that's when we were able to, to extend the lead. And so we're kind of still defining our strengths and our weaknesses in relation to the personality of this team. The night was not a very good night for Tenor. I thought Balsa was a little sluggish early. He came and gave us a big lift there in the second half. For a sophomore, you like to see that. And I hope you guys understand, we still just growing and developing. If this team continue to keep growing by February, we could be a pretty good basketball team.
Do you feel like, Leonard, the first half, the first 10 or 15 minutes of that half, that's what you want to look like on defense? I mean, swarming, deflections, blocks.
Yes. And we were pushing the ball down after we were getting those deflections and blocks and steals, and we were being solid on the offensive end as well. So you like to see that with a team that really has as many moving parts as we have.
Leonard, against UNC, you guys didn't have Scotty, but it looked like Evans really took a step forward, NC State and UNC. Now you got Scotty back, and tonight I noticed Evans and Barnes, you kind of use them at times together. Does that allow Scotty to kind of be more effective at different spots on the floor when Ray comes in and is able to have a calming presence on the ball?
Well, Scotty's been playing on the ball an awful lot, so some of the things that he's not really familiar with, but that's kind of who we are. He hasn't been around enough to learn everything. So the night we felt that because we didn't have Polite, a great decision maker, great free throw shooter. Well, we think he's a great free throw shooter. Obviously, a guy who's strong, probably our best on the ball defender. We kind of just had to improvise tonight by playing both of them together.
I know in the past you've talked about how the defense still needs to come around. How do you assess where the defense is at this point in the season?
Well, we had some good moments tonight, but we still had trouble containing the dribble. I thought that there were times when they just, at will, just drove right by us and laid the ball up at the rim, and that's unacceptable. But you got to give them credit. That's the strength of their team. They have those skills. You don't like to get beat on the first step, but that's the strength of that team. And I thought that they did a very good job in challenging us and maybe taking advantage of our weakness. They forced us. We like to switch 1 through 5, but it didn't seem to matter if they were trying to drive off our centers or our perimeter players. We had a hard time keeping them from getting to the rim.
Playing on 1 day's rest is obviously tough. Playing 3 games in 6 days is obviously tough. I guess coming out of this stretch 3-0, I guess what did you learn about your team kind of these first games back since the return?
I've learned that we have some strengths. We're shooting the ball well from the perimeter. We're not moving the ball and executing in the half court nearly as well as I think we should. I think that we're not really taking advantage of maybe some of our strengths, but that's kind of who we are. We're still growing. Some areas we experience, some areas we're not. We're just still trying to put it together, Kurt. Still got some growing to do.
Leonard, what do you say to yourself when your 7'1" center gets that steal 70 feet from the basket and basically goes coast to coast, Euro steps, and has a follow dunk? Is that in his arsenal?
Well, that just shows that he's growing and maturing. That was a very big play during that part of the game. He got the steal, had the confidence to take it to the basket, and the focus to go back up on a missed shot. So I was very pleased with that. Fellas, Louisville's a good basketball team, and I thought our guys did a very good job on the road against a very good basketball team. You got to give them a lot of credit. They're well coached. They play hard. They never backed up. They never gave up. And they kept coming back at us every time we extended the lead. That shows that they're a very good team and very well coached. Is that all?
Good.
Y'all good?
Appreciate it, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Safe travels.
All right.